Hey, I'm Trainer Gary and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're in Warren, Michigan at the prop shop, and this is what we call the Buy It, Build It, and Fly It series. I'd like for you to meet Gene, the expert at RC airplanes. Okay, Gene, what'd you sell me?
It's the Carbon-Z Cub SS 2.1 millimeter.
And that, I believe, is about 83 inches.
I think it's 84.6.
Whoa, right to the decimal point. Okay, Gene, we're gonna take this back to my shop and then we're gonna build it, then take it out to the Flying Programs RC field and fly it. Hey, we're down in the train room. This comes in a pretty big box. This is a bind and fly airplane. Later on in the video, I'll show you how to bind this to the transmitter. Also kind of cool, it comes with optional floats. So perhaps I'll get the floats this summer and we'll try flying it on water off a float. So let's get busy and put this airplane together. All right, let's open the box up. I tried to slide it out there. I found it was pretty tough sliding it out, so I just broke the seam along here. And here we go. Let's take a look on the inside. You'll be able to see that it's a pretty impressive airplane. And there it is. So let's keep me busy. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go read the instruction manual. And I'll come back later and we'll start building it. But it's pretty impressive. I like the orange fuselage, the wing panels. And check out these gigantic landing gear. So let's get busy and build it. Alright, I got the manual here. We're on page 5 of the manual. And basically, this is the landing gear assembly. I have all the parts here laid out. Here's the tires. All these parts are in bags labeled start with A all the way down to L, different bags. And here's the springs. Now, to make this video go faster, I'm not going to show you every little thing I do here. I'll just show you the end result of each major step in the assembly process. If there's something important, I'll point it out. But these directions are pretty straightforward. Just follow the directions. You should be in good shape. So let's put this landing gear together and I'll show you the end result. Alright, the airplane's now upside down. You want to use some type of Loctite on the set screws for the wheel collars inside and out. The last little tricky thing here is getting this spring on. Instead of trying to fight all this, you get this little bolt here ready. And we're just going to go in here and feed it in. There it is, it's on. Then I'll come back later with my forceps or needle nose pliers and put this lock nut on. And this happens to be done with a 1.5 millimeter Allen wrench. Let's go to the next step. We're now on page 6 of the manual. We're going to glue the rudder in. And basically what we're going to do here is, this is CA thin. I'm just going to put this on here. Let it soak into these hinges. Just got to get both sides of them. Okay, good. And the last thing is, it's a little bolt that's going to go up here. We'll drop this in. Let's help keep it warm. So I think we got it. I can tell already the glue is working because I can't pull back on it. Let's let that run. Do this a couple of times. And that gets the rudder on. And I'll come back later and put this bolt or screw through. I think we got it. Okay, we're on page 7, the horizontal stabilizer. Basically just 2 halves. There's a carbon fiber rod that goes through here. You want to make sure that it's visible on both these slots on each side. Put the 4 bolts in, hook up the control horn, and it's ready to go. I like to take a flashlight and shine it through here. Make sure that carbon fiber rod is balanced on both sides. It's right there on this side and it's correct on this side. So that carbon fiber rod is the same proportions on both sides of the elevator. This is now complete. Let's go to the next step. All right, we're on page 8. Basically, this is the brushless motor here, and there's 3 wires here, red, black, and blue. Of course, red's going to go to red. Just going to plug these in. It's got a good tight fit. And blue to blue. And then black to black. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to use these self-tapping screws with the lock washer to run them through the motor mount here to the engine mount. And on this done, I'll bring you back. Alright, page 8 is now done. The motor is in. The cowl's held on by 2 self-tapping screws. I am going to leave the propeller off till the very end because I don't want this thing coming off in the house and someone getting injured. So it's best to put the prop on the last thing. Even on page 8 there's a warning saying do not install the prop until after everything is done. That means the radial's been installed, the binding and flying procedures are all done, so nothing goes wrong. The prop can't simply starts rotating, hit the wrong servo switch or switch on the transmitter and have a serious injury. So the prop stays off. So this is done. Now we'll go over and work on the wing. Okay, we're now on page 9 of the manual, instruction manual. I put down this old beach towel so I don't damage the wing, something soft. Don't want to put it on a hard bench top. This procedure is basically going to install these vortex generators that go on the front of the wing. And they're held on with this double-sided tape. Just kind of just put those on. Then we'll come back and here's the supports for the struts. And the struts are over here in this bag. And we'll be working on these. And of course, this is the main spar support for putting both wing halves together. So I'll get this all done. I'll come back and show you how I got this done. And if there's any problems, I'll point them out to you. So just follow page 9 on doing the top of the wing with these items here on the workbench. So we'll be right back. Alright, we just finished off page 9. Everything looks good. No major concerns here. I like how they got this decal on the bottom, the end number. So let's move on. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to find the center point of this spar. So I'll get into the fuselage as dead center. So let's go back and get the fuselage, put on the workbench, and continue on. Alright, we're on page 10 in the instruction manual. I took a Sharpie and I marked the center. This is the spar rod. It's going to be centered here, and I measured out 3 inches. Make little marks. So when we put it in here, we know that we want each side to be proportional. So run that through there. There's my little 3-inch mark. Look on the other side, make sure it's balanced. Looks pretty good. Now the spar or wing rod has been installed. That's pretty simple. Now I'm going to go over and grab the wings and we'll plug them in. And now we're going to slide the wing on. And there's these wires here. The aileron, hopefully you can see that. Here's the aileron, and here's the flap. They're marked on the fuselage, so to make sure you get the right one, the right plug. Here's the flap going in. Just push that in. Little blue dot goes up. Here comes the aileron. Blue dot goes up. Snaps in there. You can see it, so hopefully you can see it in the camera. Maybe not, it's kind of low. Tuck the wires into the wing and slide it on. Look below here, see what we're doing down below here. These struts go under this little tab. That seems to be okay. Let's give it a little gentle push. And I think we got it on. What we're going to tell is to get the wing bolts. See if they're going in okay. If it needs a little bit more of a nudge. bag K, we're going to drop these pins in, from the top down. All right, the pin goes in from the top down. And there's a little clip here that goes in the bottom of it. All right, the airplane is all put together. The next procedure will be the setting up the transmitter and receiver. It's called a bind and fly procedure. Also on top here, you got these artificial antennas you can put on. I probably won't do those. I just see they're kind of a nuisance. You know, you can put these on the back wing bolts, kind of just snap on. So that's it. Next major step is the bind and fly procedures. All right, we're now going to begin the binding process. I'll be using a SPECTRUM NX8 channel transmitter, which is called 8 Plus. The battery pack I'll be using is a 5000 6S. Also it's a G2 series. And the airplane comes with this bind plug. I've removed the hatch, the back part of the airplane, so we can get to the binding plug. Now here's a little steps how to do, we're going to bind it for safe. So on here's a little steps written for the procedures. And also remove the front latch or hood to get to the battery. So let's bind her up and get the transmitter and receiver working together. All right, now we're going to go into the to find our airplane. Go down to System Setup, which is right there, System Setup. Click that. Say yes. And I go to Model Select. So right here, Model Select. Then we're going to go to add a new B&F, which is a bind and fly aircraft. Hit that. I'm going to go down to where it says E-flite. This is an E-flite airplane, so hit E-flite. Then we're going to look for our aircraft. Okay, here we go. Carbon-Z. Right here. Carbon-Z SS. And I've got several Carbon-Z's. Make sure you get the right one. This is the one we want, the Carbon-Z Cub SS. And we'll hit that. Model will be appended to end of model select. Yeah, we want to import this. So right now it's transferring that data to this transmitter. That appears to be done. Okay, at this point we got to turn the transmitter off. Okay, the next step is to plug in the bind plug. All right, that's secure. And now we're going to plug the battery in. It's kind of a short cord here on the aircraft. We'll get this plug in. This is the receiver is now flashing, meaning now it's in bind mode, ready to go. All right, now we're going to unplug the bind plug since we're doing the safe procedures. Okay, on top of the transmitter is our bind plug here. We're going to push the bind plug hold the bind plug down and turn the transmitter on.
Binding. DSMX 22 milliseconds. Telemetry. Bind complete.
All right, we have the binding procedure done. Now here's our right aileron, that's working. Left aileron, left rudder's correct, right rudder's correct. The engine is now on shut off. I turn it on, do some juice. And always make sure you do this binding procedure with no propeller on the airplane. I want to turn it off, make sure the engine is always turned off. The thing I noticed is I don't think I'm getting the correct amount of up elevator. I have to check into that. Seems like the dual rates could be messing things up here, but I've got to check the movement of the aileron. But other than that, here's the flaps. The flaps are working. I don't know if you can see that, but they are working. Okay, we're going to call this a wrapper right now. I'm going to go back and check into these elevator settings. This seems kind of weak to me, but it's plenty of aileron. And also, I checked that safe is working. When you grab the airplane, see how it's trying to fight back? So the safe is working. Okay, we're now on page 3 of the manual, which talks about marking off where the center of gravity is. And they're saying on this page here, have the center of gravity between 105 and 120 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is take this Sharpie here. I have some micrometers. I'm going to dial in to 103. Here's my 103. I got to do this on both sides of the wing, so I'm just going to put it here. Take my Sharpie, make a little dot. Just make a little dot here. Then it says the maximum, let's see, it was 120, wasn't it? Yeah, 120. So then I'll dial in. My micrometer is 120. Here's my 120. Same thing. Set it on the wing. And make a little dot here where the second one is. This marks off the center of gravity. I'll do the exact same thing on both other side of the wing. This is critical when you're flying an airplane. The center of gravity's got to be correct. And I can't do it now because I don't have the battery installed, don't have the prop on. So I'll come back later and do that when that's all done. But tonight I'll go over to do the other side. One last thing I want to talk about is making sure the prop is balanced. And if I can find my prop balancer, here they are. Here's my prop balancer. It's an old-fashioned prop balancer. And this is going to go through the prop. And you get this little nut you put on both sides. And all we're doing is making sure this prop is balanced. I go like that and it's pretty good. See, it's staying in one spot, it's not flopping over. It always returns back to neutral. So this is pretty good. Let's say it was heavy on this side, and then we want to shave, we'll take some sandpaper and just do a little shaving on this, but not much. But usually from the factory, they're pretty good right from the start. So that does it. And I'll be back later with a couple more final things. Also, I went over and I fixed this elevator too. About 1.5 turns out on this control arm on the elevator. So I think all the big stuff is done. All right, we now concluded part 1 of this Buy It, Build and Fly It series, and this was all about the Carbon-Z Cub SS. So I want to say thanks for watching. Hope to catch you in part 2. We'll take this great looking airplane out to the Flying Pilgrims RC Club's field. It's in Prairie Township, Michigan. So hope to catch you in part 2. So once again, thanks for watching. Please check out these fine videos about RC airplanes from my YouTube channel. Just click the images and the video will start.